they could have had a minute left in a game you were leading by 13 points. You're an offense-first team. Yes, your defense was playing well. And I know you had a turnover in the end zone earlier in the game, but come on, your quarterback is an MVP candidate. It's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. He froze in the moment. Under no circumstances will I accept a coach saying, no, we were good. 13 points at halftime, that game was over. Why am I taking any chances that something really crazy might go wrong? Everything about football today is about maximizing possessions, maximizing offense, giving your offense more chances to score. It's a terrible decision, and the explanation of it is worse. And so would I be concerned? Yeah. Because in this case, it didn't matter. They won by 20 points. And in the other case, Zerline makes a 56-yard field goal. But the next time when it costs you a game, it won't sound so good. So I think they should be very concerned. What's next?
Next is Week 1, obviously, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers laid an egg of epic proportions, but they played well in Week 2 and won, and they played well in Week 3 and won. So can we say that Week 1 performance against the Saints was just a hiccup?
Yes, I think you have to, in fairness. And Kmart brought this up. Every year, it's not usually the first game, the Packers are good for one inexplicably terrible performance. We've seen it each of the last several seasons. I don't know how to explain it. That's why it's inexplicable. But maybe it just came Week 1. Look, I was one of the many who said their offseason had to have something to do with that. And maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but at this point, it clearly doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers was so good Sunday night. He threw 2 passes, one of them in the back corner of the end zone to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and another one that he threw in the middle of the field to Devontae Adams on that last drive that are as pretty a passes as you will ever see an NFL quarterback throw. And he's just incredible. So at this point, you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Do I think it was a hiccup? I think it has to be. All right, one more.
Amongst all the angles and subplots as Brady returns to Foxborough this weekend, which are you most closely watching?
Well, I mean, there's a million, and we're going to get into the fans piece of this a little bit later this morning. But I am fascinated to see how Bill and Brady handle this together. There's all this new stuff. Actually, Bubba, this stuff came out since we put together the rundown. Let's lose the music on this, and let me just read a couple of these notes. So, because this came literally right before we went on television this morning. There is a book coming out by Seth Wickersham called It's Better to Be Feared, and it's got some inside stuff on Brady and Belichick. And here are just a few of the bullet points that we have here. That Brady was tired of taking team-friendly deals without having any input. That sounds familiar. And then another is that as early as 2017, Brady said he didn't want to play for Belichick. And maybe most interestingly, Brady called it telling that his goodbye with Belichick came over the phone. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. But what is clear is that there's real stuff there. Those two guys have genuine animosity. It's a thing. And I'm really curious to see how they handle it. Bill doesn't ever give you anything. Brady, I think, is going to be so focused. What is your expectation? Will they shake hands before the game?
They'll shake hands.
Will they chat amiably?
No. I think it'll be closer to like Shaq and Kobe when they reunited. There'll be a handshake, and it will be brief, and that will be that. It's my best guess.
They won't exchange pleasantries?
Why would they? They're playing each other. They're on the football field. The
but that
objective
happens.
is to win the game.
2 hours before the game, standing out there, guys on opposite teams will chat with each other amiably.
Not guys like that.
Well, so
they're wired different.
In that circumstance, because I've seen it with Bill. I've seen Bill chatting with the opposing coach 2 hours before the game. You see it on NFL films. He's not, I mean, he'll say hello and be amiable. Hey, how's the wife and kids? I mean, kind of thing. The closest thing I can think of to it, every Jet fan listening knows what I'm talking about, is when Mangini was the coach of the Jets after the Spygate thing. Like, the handshakes between those two guys were the most interesting thing about the entire game. And I'm really curious to see how that gets handled. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.